Hello children, today our new lesson is probability lesson. In this lesson, firstly we will learn about random experiments. Okay, what are these random experiments? Okay, when we observe these random experiments, there are a few characteristics that we can identify. Especially you just think in a random experiment, we can predict all the possible outcomes before conducting that experiment. For an example, I have taken two examples here. Tossing a coin. Before tossing the coin, before conducting that experiment, we can predict all the possible outcomes. We know that head can turn or tail can turn. So these two are the possible outcomes. Other than these two, will there be any other result? No. So we know, when we know all the possible outcomes before conducting the experiment, such an experiment is called a random experiment. Another example I have taken here. Rolling an unbiased cubic die which is marked its faces from 1 to 6. This is a cubic die. You know the cube, all the faces are equal and the squares. Okay, unbiased means it's a fair object. I will explain unbiased also, this term also next. Okay, so here when we roll a cubic die, we get 1 or 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6. One of these 6 numbers now we get when we roll a die. Okay, so here according to this also we can predict all the possible outcomes. These are all the possible outcomes we can get when we do this experiment. Okay, can we tell that 8 may also come? No, because 8 is not labeled here. 0 will come, negative number will come? No, because they are not labeled with those numbers. Only from 1 to 6 only we can get. And the other thing is, now we have identified one characteristic. What is that? Before conducting the experiment, we can tell all the possible outcomes. We know all the possible outcomes before conducting the experiment. The other thing is, though we know all the possible outcomes here, we don't know exactly what will come. Exactly, can we tell head will come? No, we cannot tell, though we know all the possible outcomes. Here, once before rolling the die, I am asking from you which number will come. Certainly. Can we predict 4 will come exactly? 1 will come exactly? The correct answer can't be provided. With a certainty, we cannot predict it. But we know one of these 6 outcomes will come. Okay, one of these 6 outcomes will come, but exactly can't tell this will happen. So that is the second characteristic. What is that? Though we know all the possible outcomes, exactly we don't know. With the certainty, we can't predict what will be the result. Then the third characteristic is, these random experiments can be repeated any number of times under the same condition. Okay, for an example, tossing a coin, we can do, this is the random experiment. No, this random experiment can be repeated as many times that we want. First time when I toss the coin, I may just think I got head. Then the second time I got tail, third time also tail, then head again, tail again, head again, head, tail. Likewise, we may get different results. Okay, we toss the coin and not in the result. Okay, likewise we can get can mark the results like this. Okay, so the third characteristic is what? We can repeat the random experiments as many times that we want under the same condition. Okay, then after repeating this, will we be able to see any pattern of these results? Any pattern can be seen: head, tail, head, tail, head, tail, or else head, tail, tail, head, tail, tail. Likewise, there is no any pattern to be observed here. And remember that though we repeat the random experiments, we can't observe any pattern here. No pattern, just we get the results. Understood? So those are the 4 characteristics of a random experiment. Now children, we will go to the exercise 24.1. There I will explain few questions given to you. You are provided few experiments. Now we will check whether these experiments are random experiments or not. See the first one. Roll in an unbiased tetrahedral die with its faces numbered from 1 to 4 and recording the number on the face which touches the table. See, this is the tetrahedron. All the four faces are triangles, right? So in these four faces we can label 1, 2, 3, 4. So when we throw this, okay, we don't know exactly 1 will come, 3 will come. Likewise we don't know, but we can predict 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, one of these four values can come. Okay, so this is a random experiment. Okay, we can predict all the possible outcomes, but exactly we cannot tell which one will come. And the other thing is, we can repeat tossing this tetrahedral die. Okay, first time we may get 2, second time we may get 1, likewise we may get the different results, and there is no any pattern to be observed also. So all the characteristic in random experiment can be seen here. Okay, exactly we don't know what will come, but know all the possible outcomes. So it's a random experiment. Next, second one, drawing a bead from a bag which contains beads of one color and recording its color. Okay, just think, all the balls are with red color. Okay, randomly we are going to take one ball out. Now can we tell it can be red or blue, or likewise can we predict all the possible outcomes? We know that all the balls are with red color. So the ball that we are taking also must be red color. Otherwise a white color ball will not come out. So we know exactly what is the outcome. So exactly we know the result. So this is not a random experiment, because we know the result. We know what will happen when we take a ball out. It will be a red color one only. Okay, then throwing a ball. Third one, throwing a ball at a target and observing whether it hits the target or not. It may hit or else it may not hit. Those are the two possible outcomes when we throw the ball to the target. Okay, so it's a random experiment. Exactly we don't know, but one of those two results can occur. Okay, likewise you are given few questions to be completed there, and we will go to the question 6th one there. Tossing a ball in the air and observing whether it falls to the ground. Okay, now when we throw a ball up, okay, it may go up and up and up and may disappear. No, it won't do like that. It comes down, okay, because of the gravity. When we throw a ball up, it surely may come up. Here what do we need to check? Whether it falls to the ground or not. It may not, doesn't disappear, going up and in the sky doesn't disappear. So we should know that when we throw a ball up, it comes down only. There is only one result, nothing to check there. We know exactly what will come, what will happen. Okay, the ball will come down exactly. So this is not a random experiment. Understood? Now children, we will learn about the sample space. What is the sample space? Right, here in a random experiment, for all the possible outcomes, when we include all the possible outcomes as a set, we call it as the sample space. Okay, it is denoted by capital S letter. So usually this sample space is written as a set. Okay, the name of the set is every time capital S. Okay, so here as an example for the random experiment, I have taken tossing a fair coin. When we toss a coin, what are the results that we can obtain? Head or tail. So the sample space can be written like this. Write in capital letter, put in equal mark, within curly brackets we can write the result, all the possible outcomes. Head, tail, or else fully you can write head, tail. Short form also you can write. Now children, how many elements are here? This is a set, no? Though it is a sample space, it's a set, a kind of set. How many elements are here? There are 2 elements. So the number of elements in the sample set is 2. This simple n represents the number of elements within brackets the particular set. So in the sample space the number of elements is 2. Next example, drawing an unbiased cubic die with its faces marked from 1 to 6. 1 to 6. So how do we write the sample space? Firstly write the capital letter S, then 1 to 6, all the numbers, all the possible outcomes is the sample space. So the number of elements in set S sample space is what? How many elements are here? 6. So in the same way in the textbook also you are given few examples. One example is rolling an unbiased tetrahedral die with its faces numbered from 1 to 4. And here the sample space is 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the possible outcomes. So the number of elements in sample space is what? 4. Okay. Then next one, drawing a bead from a bag which contains 2 black beads, B1, B2, 2 black beads and 3 white beads. So I am naming the white beads as W1, W2, W3. When the same numbers or same colors are coming, we can label them as 1, 2, 3. Understood? So these are the beads in the bag. Okay. Then when we take one bead out randomly, it can be one of these 5. So when we write the sample space here, along with the numbers we must write. So it can be first black bead, second black bead, first white bead, second white bead or third white bead. This is the sample space and the number of elements in sample space is 5 here. Okay. And the other example is little bit special. We will see what. In this experiment, the random experiment is there are 2 cards. There are 2 cards such that R is written on one side and Y is written on the other side. In one side R, other side Y. Okay, there are such 2 cards and the cards are tossed simultaneously and the letters turned up is recorded. Okay, just think randomly we have taken, randomly we need to toss these 2 cards. Okay, suddenly we toss these 2 cards. So we may get sometime for the first card we may get letter R and for the second card also we may get R. This is one result. Okay, because here two experiments are together here. Okay, so from both we may get R letter, or else sometimes we may get in the first card we may get letter R while we get letter Y in the second card. And the other result is in the first card we may get Y while other one we may get R. The last result is both can be Y. These are all the possible outcomes that we can get as the sample space. Earlier we tossed only one coin, okay, and one die. Okay, one bead was taken out. So only, that means separately we wrote only a single, as a single result we wrote all the possible outcomes. But here we cannot write a single possible outcomes because here we have tossed 2 cards. That means there should be 2 results together. Okay, so it can be, both can be letter R, both can be letter Y, or else first card can be letter R, second card Y, first card Y, second card R. Likewise we may get the results. Okay, not like earlier situations. Here 2 situations are together. Okay, 2 outputs are there together. So this is how we write the sample space. Within curly brackets we have written parentheses also here, right? Now children, we will learn about equally likely outcomes. when we consider the sample space of a random experiment, if each outcome is equally likely to occur, then that experiment is called an experiment with equally likely outcomes. What does it mean really? For an example, children, take a cubic die with its faces numbered from 1 to 6. Okay, then each face of this die has an equal chance of turning up when the die is rolled. That means when we consider number 1, when we consider number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all these faces are the possible outcomes. No? So all these faces have the same chance, they have an equal chance to occur. There is no any more chances for one single number. For an example, when we consider number 2, does it have more chances more than the other numbers? It's not so. So all the numbers are written only once. So all these values, all these outcomes have only an equal chance to occur. Okay, so this cubic die is a fair object. So all these outcomes are equally likely outcomes. Okay, so when we consider objects such as these, which are symmetrical and are made of a material which is uniformly distributed, so those objects are called unbiased or fair objects. So in our random experiments, we use unbiased objects, fair objects. When we take a cubic die, it must be an unbiased one. It must be a fair object. Okay, so for an example, we will take a fair coin. Okay, tossing a fair coin or rolling an unbiased die are important examples for these equally likely outcomes. Now we will consider a cuboidal die which is marked with 1 to 6. Okay, now children, when we consider a cuboid, not like a cube, in the cuboid we know all the six outcomes do not have the same chance to occur. Okay, the likelihood of the different sides turn up may not be the same. Okay, because it has a cuboidal shape. So children, such a die is not considered as a fair die. Right? In such experiments, the outcomes are not equally likely. So we don't use such objects for our experiments, for our random experiments. Now we will take another example like that. Okay, just think we have taken an unbiased cubic die. Okay, unbiased cubic die, a fair die I have taken. But here the faces are marked not with the numbers. Okay, I have painted 4 faces with red color while the other 2 faces with blue color. Okay, 4 faces are colored with red color and the other 2 faces are colored in blue color. Okay, so when we roll, just think we record the result that we obtain. Okay, so we can see that the chance of a red face turning up is greater than the blue face turning up, right? Because there are 4 faces with red color, so there is a greater possibility to get the red color face. Okay, there is a less possibility to get the blue color face. Okay, so the outcomes of this experiment are not equally likely, right? Now children, we will talk about the probability of an event, right? Here to find, this is the usual formula, okay, that we use. Probability of an event can be found like this. There should be a fraction. Every time this probability should be written as a fraction. For the denominator, we put the total number of elements in the sample space. I think that you are familiar with the sample space. Okay, so simply you need to write the elements, the number of elements in the sample space for the denominator, and as the numerator, number of elements in the event that we are talking here, right? So this is how we represent it. For an example, here We are talking about one particular event now. You may understand what these events when we go to the examples. Okay, so here I have taken the event as capital A. If it is so, to show the to denote the probability of the event A, we can write capital P outside. This shows the probability. Probability of event A can be found with the help of this. What must be the denominator? Number of elements in the sample space. You are familiar with this. Simple n denotes the number of elements. In what? In the sample space. Capital S is the letter that we use for the sample space. And for the numerator, number of elements in the event that we are talking here. It can be A, it can be B, any letter can be taken. Okay, so remember this formula. So for an example, I have taken the random experiment as tossing a fair coin. Okay, now our first question is what? In short form I have given the questions. Okay, the first question is write the sample space of this random experiment. When we toss a coin, what are the possible outcomes? Head or tail. Here I wrote the sample space. Then the number of elements in the sample space. How many elements are there? 2. Here I wrote it. Next, the special part. If the event A is getting head out of these elements, we can separate one element or few elements can be separated as events. You think that they are subsets. Okay, if I am considering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all these numbers, I am talking about even numbers. See, I am taking even numbers separately. All those even numbers should be here in this set. Okay, it's a subset, that is called an event in probability. Okay, in set lesson we are naming them as subsets, and in probability we name them as what? Event. Okay, so here as an event we have taken getting head. The name of the event is A. Write the elements in A. Right, how do we write these elements? A is also a set. I told you it's like a subset. Right, capital A. Within curly brackets only, I need to write the elements. Okay, this event is also a set, a subset of the sample space. Okay, right, then within curly brackets only I can write the elements of that. Getting head, no, only one chance no we have. Okay, there is only one outcome, head, right. Then they ask number of elements in set A, event A. How many? Only one. Now they ask probability of A. Now, no children, to get the probability, here I will write the answer. To get the probability, we will write capital A here, right, as the denominator. Number of elements in the sample space, here it is 2, the total is 2. And the number of elements in set A is what? Number 1. So the probability is half. Now children, in your exercise 24.4, sixth question, the last question, I will little explain now, before the last. Okay, sixth question I will little explain. In a bag there are 3 red beads, 2 black beads and 5 white beads, right, which are identical in all other aspects. Identical means they all are same, right. Consider the experiment of randomly drawing a bead from the bag and recording its color without looking at it, randomly taking one bead out, right. They are asking the probabilities. Okay, when we take one bead out randomly, it can be R1, R2, R3, because with the same color there are 3 beads, B1, B2. Likewise, that should be in our mind. Okay, if you really want, you can write the sample space, but this format is also enough as a rough sketch. Okay, just I will write the sample space. R1, R2, B1, B2, W1, W2, W3, W4, W5. Okay, this is the sample space, right? In Roman number 1, they ask, find the probability of drawing a red bead. Probability of drawing a red bead. Okay, here as the denominator we should write the number of elements in the sample space. With the help of this, easily we can count 5, 2, 3, altogether 10. Out of 10, how many chances do we have to draw a red bead? We have only 3 chances. Here there should be 3, right? There are 3 chances for us to get a red color bead. Cannot simplify, so keep it as it is. Then the second question, find the probability of drawing a blue bead. Right, are there any blue beads here? These are black beads. We don't have any blue beads here. So what is the probability? There is a 0 probability. If you want, you can write this, or 0 just. Okay, there is no any chance for us to get a blue color bead out of all these things. Okay, because blue color is not there. Roman number 3, find the probability of drawing either a red ball or a white bead. Red or white bead. So out of 10, there are 5 white beads and there are 3 red beads, altogether 8 beads are there. So we have 8 chances to get a white color one or red color one. So this can be simplified. So when we simplify, this answer is coming. Last one, find the probability of drawing a black bead. Now we have 2 chances out of 10. It can be written as 1/5. Okay, I hope that you got an idea about the probability.